Thought Bubble Audio.
Look, up in the sky!
You will never find the more wretched hive of scum and villainy.
Welcome to Beer with Geeks with Tim and Frank.
Who are you?
I'm Batman.
I am Iron Man.
Your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man.
Hi, Christopher. I'm Nero.
My name is Inigo Montoya.
You're a wizard, Harry.
A couple of guys with a couple of beers and a whole lot of pop culture nostalgia.
Make it so, number one.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Beatles.
Name the dog Indiana.
Life finds a way.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Now sit back and crack open a cold one, because it's time for Beer with Geeks.
It comes in pints?
Shaken, not stirred.
Great Scott!
I was way off. I knew it started with an S, though.
Why is Microsoft going to destroy the AI revolution? Like, destroy it in a good way or a bad way?
I don't know what. I'm sure this is just a provocative headline, but that's.
Yeah, I didn't click on it because I refuse to acknowledge clickbait in that way. So I will just guess and spread fake information instead. Yeah, I'm not interested. I'm not interested in that. But yeah, I think so. Bill Gates says that. So he says that what we were doing before is basically the Commodore, and now we're on Windows 95 or whatever.
Yes, it's that. Yes, it's that kind of a leap forward of we're going from green text on a black background to, wow, I can move the mouse around and the arrow goes where I tell it to on the screen.
That's wild.
Yeah, that's what he thinks.
That is cool. Anyway, this is welcome to Beer with Geeks. We're two geeks you got with beer. That was our in media res opening this episode for Frank and I talking about AI, which we're not talking about on this episode at all. Frank, how are you today?
I'm doing great, buddy. How are you?
I'm doing very well. What is it that you are drinking today?
Today I am drinking a Kona Big Wave Golden Ale. I think you'd find that a little bit more appropriate for the weather turning warmer. This is a
big wave.
Much more, yeah,
big wave. I know it's heat wave. Everyone,
I know. Yeah, I know. I know. You know.
I know. I know. You know. That's very good, Frank. Very good.
I really enjoyed it.
Actually, I'm pretty sure. Kona.
Kona, yeah, you've had it.
Yeah, definitely have. At your house.
Had it at my house,
yeah.
if nothing else.
Okay, yeah, okay, for sure. Yeah, it is very good. Yeah, you're right. I am finally finishing off that bottle of red wine, the SIMI Merlot from 2019. That is what I'm drinking. It's still very good. Still a white wine drinker, as I said last week, but I'm enjoying the red.
But you're enjoying it. You're enjoying it. Good.
Yeah, one day I'll have beer on Beer with Geeks again. But it is not this day.
Not this day.
It is not this day. It's wonderful all the same. So, Frank, here's the thing. There are a lot of geeky movies on the horizon.
Oh, boy, are there.
Yeah, so many. We have The Flash. We have Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. We have Indiana Jones 5. We have another movie, probably. Oh, Into the Spider-Verse. No.
Across the Spider-Verse.
Across the Spider-Verse, yeah. There's probably more that I haven't thought of.
There certainly are.
Yeah. Dungeons & Dragons just came out of releasing this episode.
The Tetris movie just dropped on Apple TV Plus.
Which looked great. So I haven't watched it yet, but the trailer
looks
great.
Like,
oh, a movie about Tetris. And then you're like, wow. It's a lot of Russia in this.
In this story. I first heard that this movie existed, I was picturing Pixels, the Adam Sandler movie.
Yes, me too. That's what I thought this was going to be, but instead it's technology, espionage.
It's the story of the game of Tetris. It's how the game came to be.
Yeah.
But I thought it was going to be Battleship the movie. Here's Tetris the movie.
Yep, nope, and it's not. And so I'm pleasantly surprised about that. And so I will be watching that as well. But there's some big stuff coming out, and we haven't really had the chance to talk about the stuff that we're excited about. Let's start with The Flash, because, there's an elephant in the room for the Flash, and that is, of course, the fact that the Flash television show is ending by the time the Flash movie is coming out. There's probably more elephants, but this is the one I want to talk about. So
sure.
we're like,
yes, there certainly are other elephants, but yes, this is a good one to talk
the
about.
Flash movie was announced like a week or two into the first season of the Flash, and now season 9 of the Flash is wrapping up, and now the Flash movie's coming out. I just thought, isn't it very nice of them to wait it out like that? How nice!
Yes, wasn't that courteous of them to wait?
So courteous. No other reasons whatsoever why this was happening. But Frank, I know you're like many not right. That's not the correct word. Like many sane people, you are not a fan of Ezra Miller currently in your life.
Not on a personal level. No, not a fan.
No. However, will you be seeing the Flash movie? Will that stop you?
I will likely be seeing the Flash movie. Yes.
Is that because you want to get nuts? And that's
that is because I want to get nuts.
Yeah.
I do not support Ezra Miller. However,
he got paid either way, so just go see the movie.
Truth.
Yeah.
No, I want to see Michael Keaton wearing that batsuit again. That is what I'm excited for above all else. I'm also interested to see how this is all going to, continuity-wise, how this movie is going to fit into everything that has come before it, and how it's going to deal with everything that comes after it.
Yeah, it's soft rebooting everything. They've been pretty clear about that. That the Flashpoint will reboot the DCEU into the DCU, but that I do believe that some things will remain the same and some things will not, and that's just like a good comic reboot is,
That's right.
Like New 52 rolled around and they were like, everything about Superman is different, but Batman's the same.
Yeah, exactly.
Everything you knew about this is different except for this, and this, and this, and this.
Except for all these things,
because they were already popular, so we're not touching those. Like that's
it. Like we don't want to. I remember thinking that about Batman, where it was like specifically in particular, where it was like, but Grant Morrison's run is really great, and we don't want to talk about anything.
So we don't want to get rid of any of those things. So it's happening.
It's selling, so we're not going to mess with success. But everything is different except for these things.
Yeah, which I don't care. I'm fine with that. But I just saw an interview with Jason Momoa where he was like. He's like, I'm pretty sure Aquaman has a future in the DCU. And I was like, okay, then he does.
Interesting.
You know what? But
I just want to point out that
care.
Henry Cavill, for like a couple weeks before we found out he was not going to have a future in the DCU, was like, I'm back, baby.
That's true. But that story in so much goes that nobody actually told him he was back. Except
that's
Dwayne
what I'm
Johnson.
saying about Momoa, is that might be happening again.
Except that he actually did have a meeting with James Gunn and Peter Safran. So, because there's a
okay,
a little.
I don't believe anything until it's happening.
Well, me either. But the only
at a
reason
meeting, great.
The only reason I believe
meetings.
that is because he did a little like selfie video after their meeting, and he was like, "I'm so excited! It's so it's great." And that was months ago. But
he could be wrong.
He could be, but he could also be saying Aquaman has a future. He does not say. Me as Aquaman has a future. He's just saying Aquaman has a future. They're very good at saying things that sound one way and are something different because that's what I'm getting at. That's their job, right? They are continuing to act.
I'm acting.
Next on all my circuits, acting. So anyway, we found out Michael Keaton was coming back as Batman in 2020 because I remember being in lockdown. I remember being in quarantine when the news was released, like working from home. Like
was that at Fandom?
Nope, that was just released at Hollywood Reporter. It was just like this thing, and I've been waiting for this moment for 3 years, over 3 years. And so I'm very excited. I'm very excited about The Flash. I think it looks great, truthfully. Like
it
looks real good.
It's a good trailer.
Yep.
It's a real good trailer. It looks really good.
And trailers can be incredibly deceptive, as we know.
Sure.
But sometimes you can smell the deception on a trailer. Like you just showed me the whole movie. Like one of those. And this
you can tell when that's what's happening.
Yeah.
But no, this looks good.
This one is definitely like you're showing me highlights. I
Mhm.
definitely, because I know, I could talk about a spoiler for Flashpoint if you want me to or not. It's up to you. It's not really a spoiler. It's like a toy
not for
spoiler.
me, but I don't want to spoil listeners.
All right, give me 30 seconds. So 30 seconds starting now. There's a toy that's released of the Dark Flash, which is the real villain of the story. So like the trailers are making it look like it's on, but there's actually like a whole other level we're not seeing. So like that's where I feel like this trailer is like it's not showing me everything because I know that's a thing in the movie. So hey, I did it 30 seconds.
All right, well done.
So which is that's all very exciting. I find it interesting. So like for years people imagined Michael Keaton and Christopher Reeve together, right? Tons of that art about like with all the different eras of heroes on TV and on the screen, like being in one project together and all that good stuff. And finally, Michael Keaton is going to be alongside a super character, and it's Supergirl. And it's not Superman. And I just like kind of love the twist of that a little bit. I find that is really amusing. Also that she's Kara and not
not Matrix.
Matrix or Lara or anything. Like they went with Kara, and I'm not upset about that. But I do find that interesting. And so I'm real excited for the Flash. You know what else I am excited for? Indiana Jones 5. I can't believe that I am, but I am.
I know I shouldn't be, but I am. I might be more excited for this than I am for the Flash, honestly. Like in terms of sheer like giddiness, I think I'm more giddy about this than I am for the Flash.
I think I'm more giddy for the Flash, but that's the pure Michael Keaton fan in me.
Okay, yeah, that's
not
fair.
Even Batman fan, the Michael Keaton fan in me. I'm gonna sneeze, so keep talking.
I'm excited by this, and like Indy Crystal Skull is Crystal Skull. It's fine. I
like it better than Temple of Doom. Just say I've said it for years.
I do too.
Yeah,
I do too.
I'm sorry.
I really do too. Yeah, I'm sorry, but
it's not that bad. Like once you get over that, it's interdimensional beings or whatever, and it's not religious artifacts. Like whatever.
Well,
it's pulp. It's pulp. He's a pulp hero.
It's pulp.
So does it? My wife actually my wife pinpointed this in the Indy 5 trailer, which made me then think about Crystal Skull and why it doesn't feel right to people. In that Indy 1 through 3 are dusty.
Mm-hmm.
They're dusty movies. Everything's got a level. There's a layer of grime and dirt and all of this different stuff. And then it just includes the grain on the film because they're older movies. And Crystal Skull is clean. It is shiny Spielberg in a way that Spielberg didn't used to be.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like it was like his post Saving Private Ryan style is really like golden hues and everything's got like a gleam to it. And Crystal Skull has that. And that's what Indy 5 also looks like. And so she was watching it and she's like, it looks too pretty. Like it doesn't feel like Indiana Jones. It's too pretty looking. And I said, that's so on the nose why it just didn't feel like Indiana Jones. And in some ways kind of like why the Star Wars sequels don't always feel like Star Wars because they're clean in a way that like The Mandalorian is not clean. It's it's dusty and dirty. But those sequels are clean, and it's interesting.
I feel like the Dial of Destiny trailer feels a little more, I wouldn't say gritty, but a little, dusty is a good word for it. It feels a little less clean and
refined.
50s shiny sleek, right? That was the Crystal Skull thing. It was the 50s. It was everything was sleek and shiny, and the cars had fins on them and everything.
Mm-hmm.
And this trailer, I don't know how it looks like a Lucasfilm movie. Does that make sense? It looks like Lucasfilm?
Yes. I know exactly what you're talking about.
I know what I mean, but I don't have the words to explain it. But it looks like a Lucasfilm movie, and that's a very good sign to begin with.
So there's something about Lucasfilm movies that play with horizon lines and depth of field and just how... And light, actually. There's really something about Lucasfilm movies that are very interested in the way that light interacts with its setting and its characters. Yeah. Think of Raiders of the Lost Ark, Indy coming out of the shadows.
Yes.
And Darth Vader coming out of the doorway with the smoke. That's the Lucasfilm style. It's really interested in contrasts between light and dark, not just even thematically, but just on camera. And you're right, it does feel like a Lucasfilm movie. It
does,
because you know what I was thinking, because I'm watching Willow, which sadly got canceled, but
yes,
that also feels like Lucasfilm. Kind of like when you watch a Marvel movie and you're like, this feels like a Marvel movie. There are no contrasts. It's a lot of grays. There's not there's no absolute blacks and there's no absolute whites. There's a lot of it's just the way that they're filmed, so it looks consistent. And Lucasfilm has a consistent look, but it's a little harder to pinpoint.
Yeah. It is harder to pinpoint. If I were better at film, if I knew more about film, if I knew more about cinematography and color palettes, I would be more articulate about it. But it looks. I'm excited that the Phoebe Waller-Bridge influence, I think, is going to be a very good thing. And Harrison looks like he's having fun.
He said that a lot, and when he does not have fun, he tells you. So, I am inclined to believe him that he's actually having fun.
Sure looks it.
He did say, I saw an interview, because when he said that he was joining Captain America 4 or whatever, New World Order as Thunderbolt Ross. Because William Hurt passed away, and they were like, why are you doing this? And he was like, never done anything like this before. Just want to have fun. It's not a crime.
I'm really loving this new era of Harrison Ford, where he really does seem like he's just taking roles that he that he just is going to enjoy.
Yeah. He's like, I don't care if it does well or not. I'm just going to have fun.
I don't know what sort of, I feel like he was quiet for a few years there.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Star Wars shook the cobwebs off. I don't know. But it feels like in the last few years, he's sort of been like, maybe I'll do this acting thing again.
You're right about, I think in some ways you are right about Star Wars, where it's he was so embraced, he was so nervous to do that character over again. And whatever, but then after it was embraced, he's like, yeah, let's do other ones again. But he's always said Indy is his favorite. Indy is what's closest to his heart.
And this was announced a while ago.
Long time ago.
Long time ago.
This galaxy, but a long time ago.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. But I don't get a bell for that? That was great. What is
literally...
Oh,
literally rang the bell.
It did not come through on my side, but I'm glad it did on yours. That's okay.
I'm also very... intrigued to see more of this de-aging that they did to Harrison Ford, because it looks phenomenal.
It does look good in the trailer, I will say. And the trailer's never the finalized shot. So,
yes.
If it's good enough for the trailer, it'll be better in the movie. And
it does make me wonder, did they, finish a couple of shots for the trailer? I'm sure they did. Prioritize them for the trailer. And are those the best looking shots? Will it, anyway.
I understand.
It looks fantastic, and I hope that it lives up to what it previewed.
A couple of things on Indy before we move on. I love the title, Dial of Destiny. It's a peak pulp Indiana Jones title.
Very
love it.
So.
I love it so much. So good. I did see something about how thematically the movie is about Indiana Jones not really understanding the world he lives in anymore, because he's much older than he people age. I don't get people anymore, why people do things or whatever.
Yes.
And two things that Harrison said that he's like, we got the script to work when we took out the old jokes, like when the jokes about Indy being old, like those are removed. That's not like, it's thematically almost sad that he doesn't, like, the world is moving on without him as it does for many people, but it is like, it's not like jokes of the old man who can like still throw a punch or anything like that. And I like that, but also I saw somebody be like, Indiana Jones, professor who just won't retire is one of the most like realistic things to ever happen in an Indiana Jones movie. Which
love that.
Absolutely true. Absolutely
totally
true.
Totally.
Yeah. Any last thoughts on Indiana Jones?
No. I'm stoked. Sala. That's it.
Sala. I love Sala. I have a Last Crusade poster in my office. It was signed by oh my gosh, what's his name? The guy that paints all the posters.
Ralph
not Ralph McQuarrie. I know that is where you go, but
Drew Struzan.
Thank you, Drew Struzan. Yeah, he does the Star Wars posters and Back to the Future and Harry Potter. You've definitely seen his work before.
Yes. Everyone's seen his work. Drew Struzan drew poster.
Yeah, he's a amazing guy. So I have a signed Indiana Jones poster from him on my wall. I met him at a con a number of years ago, and so Flo loves it, and so she like points at Indiana Jones. Go, that's Indy, and that's Sala, and that's Elsa, and that's Marcus Brody, and then she points at like the Nazi captain or whatever whose name I don't remember. So I go, that's Nazi. like, we just move around.
Keep moving.
I don't have time to explain Nazism to you. You're only 18 months old.
Yeah, exactly.
But I do love going Sala. That's Sala. We love Sala. And Marcus Brody, sir. Does anybody speak any English or ancient Greek? Anyway, next up on the docket, things that are coming out. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Frank, I am famously not a huge fan of Guardians Volume 2. I think it is my least favorite Marvel movie, which says something with how angry I get at Iron Man 3.
I was going to say Iron Man 3.
Yeah, but I
would have...
Yeah.
Wow. I would have said Iron Man 3 was your bottom for sure. Okay, so Guardians 2.
It's Guardians 2, and just because it just feels like a rehash of a movie I already saw. Like, and I just don't have an interest in that. Like, characters don't feel progressed. I'm watching the same thing over again. It's pretty, but I'm not connecting with anybody or the villain or anything. And it wasn't worth my time.
You heard it here first, folks. Tim hates Kurt Russell.
No.
He hates Kurt Russell. He hates him.
Yeah. It's going to be the title. It's going to follow me forever.
Well,
for the record,
gonna be until now.
I love Kurt Russell. He's got a great mane of hair. But Volume 3 looks amazing. Because it looks like it's doing something different with these characters. They've gone through a lot since we saw them in Guardians Volume 2. Obviously we've seen them crop up in a few other things, Infinity War, Endgame, Thor, Love and Thunder. Yeah. So, from what I am watching, I'm just very excited about that. I love the High Evolutionary as a villain. I like that it's connecting to Rocket. James Gunn said he basically came back to finish Rocket's story. That was like the main impetus for him doing Volume 3. Like for everybody else, it's for Rocket. And I think that's great.
That's interesting to hear. I wonder if Rocket's more like central to it this time around.
I mean, how wild would that be where you're like, years ago we were like, Guardians of the Galaxy, that'll never work. It's going to talk and treat a raccoon. People won't watch that. And now they're like, the third movie's about the raccoon.
I am here for the raccoon's arc.
Yeah, but don't call him that.
Don't call him that.
Right.
Don't call him
And I just think that is like, what you could say anything you want about like the quality of Marvel or the the tediousness of the consistency or or whatever. What they've done for a general audience to get them to be on board for weird things is just amazing. Amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is And the thing is that interest was apparently just there, dormant, and they found it.
Mm-hmm.
They found a movie for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I love it. I love that they like, we all care this much about Drax and Mantis and Rocket freaking Raccoon.
Yep.
That's just wild.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that people would say that like Groot is one of their favorite Marvel characters. Like, that is just wild.
Bananas.
It's bananas. That's right. Yeah. Bananas in pajamas or just regular bananas?
No, it's bananas. He's a banana tree, actually.
You nailed it. Oh, that's good. Maybe he is a banana tree. That'd be great if Groot just grows and he's like, fruit.
Just
Fruit.
big ol' I am Froot.
I am
Okay.
Froot. Yeah. So good. Bananas. Yeah, I'm excited. So for me, I talked about the High Evolutionary, which is a great character name. Like, it's just like, kind of like, I don't know, something else that's cool. Kang the Conqueror. Yes, that's like nice alliteration there. Things like that.
Sure.
I really enjoy that.
Reed Richards.
Reed Richards. That the joke from The Big Bang Theory is like, I want to ask Stan Lee why all his characters have alliterative names. Reed Richards, Matt Murdock, Victor Von Doom, Peter Parker. It just goes. It's a lot. It's most of them. Reed Richards, Sue Storm. Yeah. But anyway,
True.
Fing Fang Boom. I lost my thought. What were we talking about?
I Am Froot.
Oh, I Am Froot. No. High Evolutionary. Do you remember Spider-Man Unlimited? Do you remember that show?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
Where it was like, he like went to space, or he went to like another dimension or across the universe and whatever, and he ended up on this planet. And but the High Evolutionary was the villain in that show, and like the show only lasted a season. I think it was a little too much for the time that it was made and whatever else. It was just a little too trippy coming from like Spider-Man the Animated Series to this.
Right.
It wasn't enough. They like missed a step in between. But
went too far.
You went a little too far. But I've never lost like that connection to that character because of that show when I was a kid. And so I'm just excited for it. It looks cool. It looks real cool.
It does. It looks super cool. I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited for it.
Real-time question. Are you over Chris Pratt? Like, are you over the Chris Prattiness of the Pratt?
I can't pinpoint when, but I feel like I am past the peak of Chris Pratt, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
I don't dislike him per se. I just feel like it's sort of the moment has kind of passed. There was a time where it was like, he might, he'd be a great Indiana Jones, and I was on board with that for a little bit, but now I'm like, maybe it's time for him to take a break.
Mm-hmm.
Let me miss you a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. So
let absence make the heart grow fonder.
I agree with that. But speaking of things like, so Marvel did this thing where they like got a general audience to believe in, like, care about a talking raccoon from space in a tree. But Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse got you to care about a different animation style than what Disney or Pixar was pumping out, which I think is tremendously important. Like, actually forced animation to do different things.
Yeah.
And I just love that so much. But also to care about the multiverse, to be part of the lingo, because you can talk about DC doing it, or Marvel proper, MCU proper doing it, or a whole bunch of other things that came everything everywhere all at once, but I think when it comes down to it, Into the Spider-Verse was so popular, it did so well. I think that's the thing that really got people, or kids specifically, like into it, because we've seen it before. If you watched Justice League when you were a kid, the Justice Lords, or Spider-Man, animated series had it. So like it's been out there, but I think for it just to be part of the conversation. So anyway, I'm excited for the sequel for Across the Spider-Verse. Yeah, it's going to be one of those titles that I'm not going to remember. Like, it's like Inside the Planet of the Apes, Dawn of the Rise,
Beyond
of the War,
the Planet of the.
Yeah, like I never remember which one's which. But it's going to be like that for me. But I'm excited. It looks great.
I'm excited. I think it's going to be interesting. There's going to be a lot of expectations around this movie because the last one was such a success, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think one of the things that made the last one a success was because it was kind of a sleeper hit. Like no one really expected it to be that big a success as it was. I didn't really expect that level of just absolute like juggernaut.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be interesting to see how this one does, because I don't think it's totally fair to compare it, but then again, it's hard not to. So I'll be very, very interested to see how this one is received.
Yep. And
how it is, when you rate it sort of fairly on its own, not comparing it to what came before it, not entirely making its quality completely contingent on how you felt about the first one.
I agree.
I'm excited to see this film, and the trailer looks great. And by the way, the trailers for everything we're talking about are in the show notes for today, if you want to check them out for yourself. But the trailer makes this film look really, really fun. And like, talk about the animation style. Like, it looks like a furthering of that, and a really leaning into what made the last movie special. So
I agree. Just to kind of cap us off, a movie that wasn't originally on our docket that I want to make a kind of an honorable mention for, that I'm very excited about, that it exists in the realm of these movies, is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem, the Seth Rogen-led new animated Ninja Turtles movie. It looks so good. Have you watched the trailer for this? I know you didn't really grow up with Ninja Turtles.
I didn't, and so no, I haven't.
You should do yourself a favor and take 2 minutes and watch it, because it is delightful. It's got
dropping in the show notes.
I talked about it, so I said that Into the Spider-Verse kind of forced companies to be like, oh, we can do different animation styles. It's okay. Mm-hmm. Let's be different. And Mutant Mayhem, Paramount and Ninja Turtles Mutant Mayhem is like running with that idea, and they're really going for something different. It's got Spider-Verse vibes, like in its style, but it almost feels like in both of them, they almost feel like graffiti come to life. Right.
Okay. I'm seeing what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I see what you mean.
There's an over exaggerated quality to many of them. Like you think of Kingpin in Spider-Verse, and then
yes.
And then you'll see Bebop and Rocksteady or a few other things. And like there's just something about them, about this style, this new style, that it flows and jitters, and I just love it so much. And what's very cool about the trailer when you watch it, or this movie, is that the Ninja Turtles are actually teenagers. They're played by kids.
Wow.
And
have they ever done that before?
Nope, never. Totally
nice.
New. Yeah. And so they're not like, they say they're teenagers, but they're actually adults. Like, these are kids, and they're going for like that Stranger Things Amblin vibe.
Yeah.
It's just a really interesting pastiche, really interesting mashup, and I'm so excited for it. I'm so excited. Yeah.
Well, Summer 2023 has a lot of good stuff lined up for it. This is looking like a really good year to be a nerd.
It is, and we're going to have a lot of things to talk about on this show. But before any of that occurs, Frank, you got to tell the people where they can find us.
Yes. Well, if you want to help support the show, help us keep making new episodes every week, you can head on over to patreon.com/thoughtbubbleaudio to support us there for as little as $1 a month. You can pledge and sort of help us keep the lights on. You can subscribe anywhere podcasts are found. If you're just listening week to week or whatever, and you haven't hit subscribe, or you haven't rated or reviewed us, please do that. You can find us at beerwithgeeks.com for the show notes and everything else, or thoughtbubbleaudio.com, and you can email us at beerwithgeeks@gmail.com.
Well, Frank, you said that so nicely, as you do every week. Great pleasure talking to you as always. And until next time, cheers.
Cheers.